Hello and welcome to the Virtual Racing League, live tonight from the Daytona Road Course for the VRL Daytona Road Course 40 for the second to last race of the regular season. These drivers trying to find their way into the top 12 in the standings as the playoffs are quickly approaching. They'll have tonight and then next week to figure it out, and you don't really want to leave it down to next race. That is going to be the Daytona Oval, and anything can happen there. A couple of definitely interesting races to end this regular season, and could be pretty chaotic, pretty crazy, and it is definitely tight around the cut line coming into tonight's race. We'll take a look at the points in a moment, but we are live tonight from the Daytona International Speedway for 40 laps this evening, 142.4 miles. For the stage being at lap number 15. This is race 17 of 25. Some of the best drivers in this series looking to secure their spot in the playoffs this evening. So drivers now wrapping up the practice session and heading to qualifying. Let's take a look at the points as they enter into tonight's race. Currently, your points leader is Connor Horn, who I do not believe is here this evening. Yeah, I think Connor, I believe he's missing the race. I'm not sure if he is in the Firecracker 400. Right now, I am not seeing any drivers qualifying on track. But either way, Connor comes into tonight's race. 5 wins this season. And I don't see anybody here at the moment on track, so hopefully we're not having connection problems. But he is being hounded by AJ Stravato, who could very well take the points lead this evening. A couple wins already this year, and looking for potentially another one here from the road course. He's very good on these types of tracks. Adam Cabot has been hot this season with 3 race wins, including Nashville. Just a week ago, he's been really good on the unique racetracks. So winning at Darlington, Rockingham, and Nashville. Very, very interesting to see the style of tracks that he has found success at. Alec Martinez won the opening race of the season, currently 4th in the standings, and Keith Mayato winning at Nashville Fairgrounds. He has the 5th position locked up, all 5 of those drivers guaranteed in. You see the rest of the top 10 there. It gets a lot closer as you get down to Mark Emerson, to that cut line. Angelo Ronis, Elliott Butler also in the mix back there, 11th and 12th. Garrett Kite, Greg Wellen, Jeremiah Vincent, Zach Halpern, all still potentially able to get into the top 12. And the drivers in red are going to be eliminated from playoff contention. Doesn't mean they can't continue to show up week after week and continue to challenge these guys for race wins. But they will not be in the playoffs as contenders for the championship, just too far back, and it is mathematically impossible to overcome. Take a look here, Zach Halpern on the racetrack. For some reason my timing and scoring is not showing anybody. See if we can do a little bit of that fix. There we go. Now it's showing up for me. Bring up the qualifying ticker. A 3.56 mile road course here at Daytona. Definitely one of the tricky ones, very technical. This is where you'll see the 24 hours IMSA race at the beginning of their season, and a lot of drivers here on iRacing like to participate in that one, no matter if they're oval drivers or road course ringers. You'll see all kinds of drivers participating in that one, as Yusuf Ghali, one of the best in the league on road courses. We'll see what he can do here on his flying lap. They may only get really one opportunity to get a lap in. If they make a mistake, it costs them some damage. They won't get that fast time on lap number 2, and they won't have time to reset with how long it takes to get around here. No times rolling in just yet. Welcome, Thomas. Thank you for joining. Yusuf is last year's champion, and he is still looking for race win number 1 here in 2021. The 54 car has been fast, just has not had the finishes that sometimes he deserves. He had a good run at Coda a handful of weeks back. Connor Horn took the win there, but Yusuf was really one of the fastest drivers other than the 67. He's going to bring it towards the start-finish line. Across the line he goes. He'll be top of the board with a 155.40. Adam Cabot 156.167, about 7/10 off, or almost 8/10 off rather, for the number 77. Adam Cabot, though, he's been pretty strong on these road courses. We'll see who else is on track right now. Joe Stafford looking for a second attempt. His first one, a 157.15, so a bit off of Yusuf's pace. Another driver pretty good on these road courses, AJ Stravato. Keith Mayato, also very strong. And without Connor Horn here, that's really one of the top contenders out of the way. And we could see potentially a new winner this evening, but no guarantees there. Some of these guys who already have wins, some of the best in the road course racing business in terms of stock cars on road courses. And we're seeing a couple guys a bit farther back. Lyle Sulfridge, Elliott Butler, maybe having a little an adventure going around, or maybe it was just kind of a sandbagging lap and they're trying to pick it up here on lap number 2. You see Elliott is attempting another lap. Keith Mayato goes to second, just 3 1/1000ths off of Yusuf Ghali's time. Keep an eye on AJ Stravato, who did not get a great lap in, a 157.75. That'll put him 8th out of 10. But on lap number 2, gonna try and improve on that. And yeah, Reggie in the chat mentioning that without Connor here, it is most likely going to be AJ Stravato taking the points lead, regardless of where he finishes. He is about 24 points back of Connor at the moment. But just really needs to finish, I think, in the top 10 or 15 here tonight, and there's only going to be 17 drivers, it appears. Dylan Parker on the track as well. He's got 1 lap in, currently 5th fastest. He is not going to attempt a second lap. Alec Martinez goes to 3rd on the board. Zach Halpern jumping up to the 12th position. AJ Stravato still out here. He'll complete a second lap, but it is not faster than his first. Actually 3/10 slower, which is to be expected in these stock cars. The tires just burn up after 1 lap. Alec Martinez really pushing it here on his second lap. But I don't think he's going to be able to pick up off of that time. He's only 4/10 off of Yusuf, and usually that second lap is 1 to 2 seconds slower, especially around a track this large. That should pretty much do it for drivers qualifying. We're going to go to a quick intro. We will be right back.
Welcome to V-Speed, your home for sim racing excitement, providing dramatic moments from iRacing and beyond. We offer broadcasting for leagues across iRacing with specialized packages to help grow your league and advertise your sponsors.
I
Thinking right now, Stravato with that advantage. It's half a car length the difference between first and second going into turn one. He gives the bumper to Connor Horn.
These two have gone all year to get to this point. Jacob Shorba drifting up the racetrack. They make contact. The 88 goes around. The 95 goes around. The 12 caught in it.
Our design team can help you create anything from paint schemes to sim rig parts with expertise in both 2D and 3D design with 3D printing capabilities. Looking to get into broadcasting yourself? We can help you design and operate custom overlays to make your stream look as professional as possible. Our team can create and manage custom merchandise sales for you and your team. Check out our shop to see what we have in stock and how we can create some awesome merch for you. Check out our race replays on YouTube or catch us live weekly on Twitch. Visit us at vspeedsim.com to see how we can help you on your iRacing journey.
Back at the racetrack now, qualifying coming to a close. Let's see where your favorite drivers are starting in tonight's race here from the Daytona Road Course. Starting on the pole, it is going to be Yusuf Ghali with a 155.406. Congrats there to Yusuf. Great lap time as he's able to prevent Keith Mayato just 3 1/1000ths off from taking that pole. Keith going to be starting on the front row alongside the 54. Great lap times by both drivers. Starting in row number 2, it is going to be Alec Martinez and Adam Cabot, both winners this season. Bailey Turner starting in 5th. Dylan Parker starting in 6th. Joe Stafford going to be rolling off from 7th position here tonight. And Mark Emerson starting in 8th. Starting in 9th, it'll be Jeremy Miller. Rounding out the top 10, AJ Stravato. Elliott Butler going to be rolling off 11th. Jeremiah Vincent starting in 12th. 13th will be Zach Halpern. 14th, Lyle Sulfridge. 15th, Jeff Wright, who won at Sonoma earlier this season. Could have an opportunity to win here. Eddie Trejo starting in 16th. Rounding out the field tonight, it's going to be Lane Sulfridge in 17th position. 17 drivers. Could be a fun one for sure. Just waiting for the field to get rolling here on the back straightaway. Let's take a look at the track conditions coming into tonight's race. 119 degree, now 120 degrees, just ticked up there. Track surface temperature, 75 degree air temp, so not too hot to be out there watching, but it might be pretty hot in those race cars and tricky to get around. Waiting on the last few drivers to grid up. It may be Jeff Wright with connection problems. And it looks like he will have to either start from the pit lane or he is not going to be starting here tonight at all. The leaders will get rolling. And they start on the backstretch, so we don't have to do an entire pace lap, which could take some time, but speeds things up as we get going. Of course, cheer on your favorite driver. Let us know you're out there, who you're rooting for. We'll try and follow along with them throughout the race. We want to thank you so much for tuning in to the race here on V-Speed. I hope you enjoy it, and thank you so much for your support. It'll be Yusuf Ghali and Keith Mayato, both strong drivers this year, very good on the road course at COTA. Both looking for an opportunity to get a victory tonight as the pace car are going to roll off onto pit lane. The field working towards the start finish line. Green flag in the air. We're underway from the Daytona Road Course, race number 17 of the Virtual Racing League. Oh, Yusuf Ghali going wide. We've got contact. Lots of cars making contact right there. Adam Cabot forcing his way into the middle as they are side by side, 3 wide, a bit farther back. Everybody trying to settle things out, but a crazy initial start to this event as we've got cars back here. Car going around 21 of Eddie Trejo. And there comes Jeff Wright flying out of the pit lane. And he will try and join the field here. Look at this, though. Cars trying to make moves early on. Here's Bailey Turner on the back of Joe Stafford. As at the front, Yusuf Ghali has Keith Mayato behind him. And they're starting to pull a small margin over Alec Martinez already here, just halfway through lap number 1. Battle is on for third. Martinez going wide. Here comes Adam Cabot on the banking down low. Cabot with some rear end damage. Alec with a bit of rear end damage as well. And then they are single filed out behind them, really flying down the back straightaway. 195 miles an hour. I don't know if that is correct. Yeah, it might be, actually. That is some serious speed. Mayato a bit higher up the banking, trying to track down Yusuf down into the final chicane. Right on the back bumper. You got to really try and avoid those curbs as we see Alec Martinez get up onto one. Across the start-finish line, Yusuf Ghali will lead the first lap. Mayato in second, Adam Cabot in third. Let's go on board with Cabot as he sees the 2 leaders racing up in front. Mayato all over the back of the 54. Here he goes looking to the inside. Can't get the power down though. Yusuf going to be able to hold him off. Good battle at the front though as Mayato almost off track right there. Still trying to find a way to get to the inside. Cabot really closing in. I think they call these the horseshoes down here in the infield. Got a long sweeping left, or a sweeping right there, and then a left, and then back to the right again to get up onto the NASCAR banking. Mayato right in the tire tracks of the 54 and trying to find some other battles on track. Everybody reasonably spaced out, but looks like Bailey Turner has made his way around Joe Stafford. Mark Emerson not too far behind him, and then AJ Stravato, who started in 10th. Not quite on pace for what we'd expect from AJ at this track, but maybe not a lot of practice time. He may find some speed as the race progresses. Zach Halper and Jeremiah Vincent also racing it up here out of the carousel, or rather the bus stop or inner loop, whatever term you want to use. And those two racing around NASCAR turns 3 and 4. While at the front, Yusuf Ghali's pulled a little bit of a margin out on Mayato. Maybe a little mistake from the 36. See Keith really closes in as they get down into the infield. The gap only about 3 car lengths through this little chicane into the first horseshoe. As we've got a battle brewing back here. Mark Emerson, AJ Stravato. And they're closing in on Joe Stafford. These two, the 22 and the 33, no strangers to each other. But Stravato will take 8th spot away, and this is the speed that I figured that he would find. This is already qualifying pace for him. And looking to take away 7th spot now. And here comes Mark Emerson as well. He'll move up to 8th. Stravato to 7th. Battle for 4th could be developing as Dylan Parker is closed up on the 21, rather the 18 of Alec Martinez, showing as the 21. He is going to look to the inside down this back straightaway. We'll see if Alec gives him the position. He's hard on the brakes, tags the outside wall, under braking, and Dylan a little bit through the grass in the chicane here. Able to hold on to that fifth or fourth position. Alec will settle into fifth spot as maybe battle's going on a little farther back. Nope, everybody fairly well spaced out. Jeff Wright up to 15th. He is struggling a little bit there through the backstretch chicane. And at the front, Mayato's taking the lead away from Yusuf Ghali. Does Yusuf try and get it back here in turn number 1? He's going to go a bit wide, try and cut down and maybe get underneath the 36. But right now, Mayato taking the lead away. Keith looking for another victory. Already a one-time winner this season. You know how good he can be on the road courses. There's a couple hungry dogs behind him, though. Adam Cabot, who's had such a stellar season. Really just a fantastic job. We do have a car, I think, off track. That's Bailey Turner. Let's see if we can find out what happened to Bailey. Yeah, ended up... Let's see what happened here. Under braking. Just missed the corner. Slid all the way over towards the wall. Almost into the gravel. Able to get it spun back around and onto the racetrack. But he will lose quite a few spots now, back to 11th. And we are racing the lap 15 for stage number 1. Top 8 drivers will earn stage points at that time. How about this, Joe Stafford? He is not letting the 22 get out away from him. They have been right on top of each other here for the last lap. All the way down to about 75 miles an hour. As a bit farther forward, Dylan Parker and Alec Martinez continuing to do battle. You know, the front stretch chicane, it is about 3 or 4 car lengths separating these two. Right now, Alec Martinez hanging on to that top 5 position. Mayato still out in front, a half second over Yusuf Ghali. Maybe the 54 saw that the 36 had better speed early on. He's going to try and track him back down. But it will get trickier and trickier to hang on to these cars, especially with the heat that we have in this session. Dylan Parker almost able to close up on the 18. Couldn't quite get there through the first horseshoe. Here they come down towards the second horseshoe. Ooh, maybe overshooting the corner a little bit. It's Alec Martinez. Dylan applying that pressure, forcing mistakes. Alec has got some damage already. We saw him rub the outside wall. And with constant pressure from someone behind you, it can get pretty difficult to hit your marks when you're looking in the mirror. And Eddie Trejo, he has taken it to pit lane. Long time on the pit road, 7.5 minutes. Mark Emerson has gotten away from Joe Stafford, but it's still just a second between these two, and the 57 with a bit of right front damage. Maybe tag the outside wall at some point. I don't think they made contact. Hard for me to tell if Mark has any kind of damage. Doesn't really look like he's got any, so I don't think they made contact, but... Oh, a mistake possibly from Alec Martinez. I think he missed the chicane. Yeah, he knew he was not going to make it and did not want to go up over those turtles, the turtle shells as they call them. Dylan Parker is going to take 4th position, but Maybe Alec can kind of reverse the roles and apply the pressure back to the 3 and force a big mistake. In terms of other battles, there aren't too many at the moment. This is really the main battle. Mayado's still out in front by about 0.6, and they're starting to pull a gap now, 1.8 seconds out in front of Adam Cabot. So on board now with Alec Martinez, who started in 3rd, but he has lost spots and really seems to be struggling with that race car. AJ Servato behind him. AJ, a really, really good road course driver, and right now he is in the top 4 fastest drivers. All the way up to 9,500 RPMs. 170, 180, 185, 190 down the backstretch. So these cars are flying. 195 before he gets on the brakes. And you can see how much he closes up right there, but sliding the rears just a little bit. Still trying to hang on through the chicane. Actually lost a little bit of ground right there. Mark Emerson has let Joe Stafford on pass. These two set to do battle for most of the night, it appears. At the front, Mayato with a mistake. He's lost the lead to Yusuf Ghali. What happened here? Ooh, hit the curbs big time, and he had overshot the entry into that chicane. But Mayato losing the lead, and Yusuf Ghali taking it back. Keith just pushing a little bit too hard there. The 54 applying pressure, causing him to make that mistake. Alec Martinez coming to pit lane and taking fuel only. So perhaps they cannot make it the 15 laps to the end of the stage. He will bring it down, as well as Mark Emerson you saw in the background. He's making his way off pit road. Jeff Wright, he pitted early, but that was just because he started on pit lane, but he didn't actually have a pit stop. Oh, and he's got a problem right now. He stopped on the track. Don't know what happened there, but perhaps some technical issues for the 48. It's out in front. Yusuf Ghali has been able to stretch it over Keith Mayato, but maybe Keith is in save mode. You can see how much the 77 just closed up on him. So I think Keith might have something in mind to stretch it that 15 lap distance. Pretty tough to do on these road courses, as the 24 and the 30 battling it up, but Jeremy Miller going through the grass. Able to hang on to it, but that's going to let Bailey Turner escape. We're keeping an eye on the pit lane, see if anybody else brings it down. None of the top 5 bring it in. Joe Stafford, what does he do? Ooh, he's getting really loose out of the chicane. Bailey Turner, Jeremy Miller, a mistake there from the 24, so they're back at it again. Elliott Butler, he's not going to bring it in. Neither is Jeremiah Vincent. But just Alec Martinez and Mark Emerson stopping. And Mayato had lost about another second, but he is now back down to 1.1. Trying to figure out what he is doing right now. But here comes Adam Cabot, really putting on the pressure. He's starting to catch up to these top 2 and not in save mode at all, from what I can tell. Looking for other battles. AJ Stravato, Dylan Parker. Dylan showing some good speed here tonight, but AJ coming through the field. He is already up 5 spots. Dylan Parker right here started in 6th. He's up 2 positions. And AJ definitely a bit quicker last time around. He was 0.8 of a second faster. He's right now just a half second behind, but you can see he is really driving it up out of that backstretch chicane. How about this? Elliott Butler getting passed up by Alec Martinez. He's going to go through the grass right there. Alec moves into the 10th spot. He's going to put some pressure now on Jeremiah Vincent for 9th. Remember, Alec didn't take tires. He just took fuel. So he doesn't have any kind of a grip advantage. But he's going to look to the outside out of turn number 4. 9 car shuts the door. And Yusuf Ghali on pit road. He's pulled it into the box. And now rolling off. Didn't get a good drive out of the pit lane, but just fuel only. And here comes Jeremy Miller, Elliott Butler. Taking a look to see if anybody else. Jeremy Miller taking 4 tires, I think. It's definitely a longer stop, 14-second flat, and here comes Elliott Butler into his box. We just had an audio problem there, but Keith Mayato will take over the race lead. Give us 1 second. We have some technical difficulties. All right, back at the track now. Mayato in front. He's led 4 laps. And Adam Cabot still out there in 2nd. We've had quite a few drivers pit. Lyle Sulfridge came down. Elliott Butler, Jeremy Miller, Mark Emerson, Alec Martinez, Yusuf Ghali. Yusuf, the first of the drivers to have pitted. Currently in 7th spot. He had one of the longer pit stops for drivers who took fuel only. And here comes Adam Cabot. He'll make the decision to stop. Wonder what the call is going to be for Mayato. As lap times have definitely fallen off. He ran a 2:04 last time, which is well off pace of the rest of these guys. Well, actually not really. Hard to tell for sure. Cabot comes down. Here comes Dylan Parker, Joe Stafford, Bailey Turner on pit road as well. So most drivers have stopped. Only about 4 or 5 have not. Mayato, Stravato, Jeremiah Vincent, Zach Halpern, Lane Sulfridge, the drivers did not stop. Jeremiah's been running a smooth, consistent pace back here. He's currently in 6th. It's right in front of Dylan Parker, but Dylan already pushing the issue right off of pit road. And we've seen a handful of drivers take tires. Looks like Joe Stafford, Jeremy Miller, Elliott Butler, and Lyle Sulfridge took tires. Jeff Wright slides into his box. And he is just going to have a quick stop and go, a splash of fuel. And he is on his way. Do we see the leaders bring it in at any point? Look at the lead here. 5.6 seconds back to AJ Stravato. Yeah, some interesting strategies for sure. We've got drivers trying to save, drivers who saved earlier. We've got 4 tires, no tires. Lane Sulfridge completing service. He took 4 tires and is off and away. Still Zach Halpern, Jeremiah Vincent, Keith Mayato, and AJ Stravato. And it will be 5 laps left in the stage when they come to the start-finish line. I'd like to go on board here with Keith and see what the call is. He is clutching down into the corner. And meanwhile, AJ Stravato, 4 seconds faster last time around. Yeah, Keith is using the clutch. He is short shifting and everything you need to do, but AJ Stravato really closing up the gap. He might have an opportunity to win the stage. And this will be very interesting for stage number 2, because I don't know if they can even do just a single. They may be able to do a single stop, but they might try and split it into thirds or something like that. But what my auto is doing right now, if you can go about 12 or 13 laps, then you can split stage number 2 in half. AJ is closing up. He's already gained another 7/10 on this lap, and Yusuf Ghali is only 11.2 seconds back. So if he can gain at a pace of 7 seconds a lap, like he just did on the previous lap, he will get up there and win the stage, no doubt about it. He was 3 seconds faster than AJ Stravato as well. And we do have another car on pit lane. Oh, maybe not. That's just it's showing the 48 is on pit lane, but he is not on pit lane. So now the gap just 1.7 seconds. AJ Stravato really gaining ground. Not too many laps left in the stage. Yusuf Ghali also closing up very quickly. Maybe Keith is just saving to an extreme rate, and then when the 40 or when the 33 gets there, he'll start to pick up the pace again. But it doesn't sound like it. He's still really light on the throttle. And AJ Stravato now 1.5 seconds behind. He was another 2.3 seconds faster. Yusuf Ghali across the line. He was 5 seconds faster nearly than Keith Mayato. So this stage is not done and dusted just yet. The 36 trying to hang on to this race lead, but AJ Stravato, does he have enough gas? Even if he does get there, is he going to have to save? And will either of those two actually end up winning it all, or winning the stage, and maybe Yusuf Ghali can get back up to them? I think everybody else may be a bit too far away. Alec Martinez about 6 seconds behind Yusuf Ghali. Or 5 seconds, actually. And Adam Cabot, who had a shorter stop there, only took 3.7 seconds worth of fuel. He's closed up to the 18. So as these two get to battling, it could eliminate their chance of winning the stage. I don't think either of them is quite fast enough to get up to the 54. And Yusuf Ghali has taken the second spot away. AJ Stravato maybe into super conservative mode. Maybe there was a mistake right there. I didn't see what happened. Oh, he went off track. Stravato pushing. Just goes way too wide. We've already seen that happen in this race in that same exact corner. And that allowed the 54 to get up there and take away second spot. AJ already 2 seconds back from him. And Yusuf Ghali continuing to march forward, just 4.2, now 3.8 seconds. The 36 right there in front of him. Keith is going to have a really hard time saving enough gas and then holding him off. That time a 2:05.7. Let's see what Yusuf is at the line. A 2:01.6, 4 seconds faster. Oh, really big slide right there, trying to push that car. I just don't think Keith is going to be able to stretch it far enough. And also hang on to the race lead. That's going to be a very delicate balance. Only a couple more drivers in the field that didn't pit. Jeremiah Vincent, Zach Halpern. Zach is quite a ways back in the 12th spot. If I was him, I probably would bring it in. he would stay on the lead lap. He could even take 4 tires. He might actually do it next time around. Mayato maybe picking up the pace again. He's kind of stabilized here, about 3 seconds in front of Yusuf Ghali. No other battles to speak of. The closest one is AJ Stravato and Adam Cabot, who's actually driven right on by. He's up to 4th. And Alec Martinez up to 3rd. So AJ in super conservative saving mode. And he is losing spots. Dylan Parker next in line to catch him. And last time around, Dylan was 9 seconds faster. That is not something you'd hear on an oval. Now the race lead, just 1.2 seconds separating Mayato and Yusuf Ghali. Big wiggle there for the 36. 2 to go. At the line, that is 2 laps to go. Yusuf Ghali is closed up from over 10 seconds back, now under 1 second down into turn number 1. And Mayato's done an incredible job of saving, but I just don't think he could possibly hold off the 54, although Yusuf driving the wheels off that thing last time was 3 seconds faster. And don't count out Alec Martinez. You saw him pit a bit sooner than some of the other drivers, and he is closing up to Yusuf Ghali. He's saved the tires. And right now, he's running about 1.5 seconds a lap faster, so Yusuf could get there. He's just about 2.5 behind the 54. Adam Cabot too far back from him, but this is not a battle that's ended yet. The 77, the 33, and the 3 all on top of each other. 4th, 5th, 6th, and and Adam Cabot overshoots the corner. Almost into the tire barrier, able to get it stopped. He's going to have to back up. That'll cost him a ton of time. It'll cost him probably 4th and 5th. He'll get going in the right direction again in 6th position at the front. Yusuf Ghali going to the outside. Mayato lets him go. But with 1.5 laps remaining in stage number 1, Yusuf Ghali back to the point. Mayato saving a little bit too much right now, and I think he just has to. I don't think there's any way to pick up the pace and make it on fuel. Alec Martinez still waiting to strike. He's only 2 seconds back from the 54. Let's see what the lap times are at the line. I think it's going to be clear that the 54 is one of the fastest on track. This time around, a 202.4. Alec Martinez up over the curb right there. We saw a 201.8, so only 0.6 faster. And last lap of the stage, a gap 2.1 back to the 18. Mayato is in the way of him, so he's got some work to do if he wants to get up there and win the stage, but almost hitting the wall there around pit lane. Keith goes wide. I think he knows he's got to save too much, and the 18 is there, so this is going to be the battle for the stage win. Yusuf Ghali, Alec Martinez, just a couple seconds separating them. Meanwhile, Dylan Parker back here in 4th. Adam Cabot has lost touch with him, and then AJ Stravato has brought it on the pit lane. Only 0.7 of gas in that car. And that may not be right. He might have stopped for a little bit more than that. But either way, he could not make it all the way, and right now in 10th, he'll miss out on stage points unless they get to wrecking in front of him, which might happen. Bailey Turner, Mark Emerson, these two up here trying to battle for that final stage point. And Mark goes a bit wide there through the horseshoe. Here comes the 24 right up towards the back bumper. Meanwhile, at the front, Yusuf Ghali still hanging on to the race lead. And Alec Martinez struggling through the chicane there. He lost a ton of momentum. Keith Mayato very slow coming out of the chicane. Dylan Parker's reeled him in. Dylan will take over third. Keith just trying to make it to the green checkered flag as Yusuf Ghali through the final chicane. He will win the stage by just over 3 seconds. Alec Martinez couldn't quite get back up to him, but Dylan Parker comes through in third. Mayato, he is just cruising here in fourth. He will make it to the stage. Adam Cabot able to hold off Joe Stafford, who had closed up. Jeremiah Vincent, he's stayed out this whole stint as well. He'll be 7th if he can make it. Really slow trying to make it here. And he will. Bailey Turner going to grab the last spot. He passes Mark Emerson. And there's the yellow flag for the stage break. We'll see if these guys who didn't stop can make it back around and actually get onto pit lane. So the only drivers not pitting are Keith Mayato, Jeremiah Vincent, and Zach Halpern. AJ Stravato pitted late. He ended up 10th. Not earning stage points there, but these are the drivers earning points with varying strategies. The top 8 look like this: Yusuf Ghali, Alec Martinez, Dylan Parker, Keith Mayato, Adam Cabot, Joe Stafford, Jeremiah Vincent, and Bailey Turner. Keeping an eye on Keith. He's trying not to use the brakes. He's just sending it through the chicane right here. Just coasting, hoping he can make it. I wish I could see how much fuel he's got in the tank. It has to be just a few drops, but he did make it. But it's crazy. Yusuf Ghali all the way down here into turn 1 already. I think Mayato will have to pit. Oh, and he might be running out right now. Yeah, he's going to cut it right around the chicane. The 57 of Joe Stafford goes around him. Oh, and he's going to go another lap. Jeremiah Vincent appears to be out. Oh no. Jeremiah and then Zach Halpern. Zach still is under power. We'll see if he gives a push to the number 9. That is very unfortunate. That is definitely a side effect of the strategy. He did earn a couple stage points, which he needs, but it might cost him finishing this race. Or at least finishing it on the lead lap. He's way back here. And the race leader, Mark Emerson is out of gas as well. Nothing happened to Mark. This is all mixed up right now. Yusuf Ghali coming through 3 and 4. There is Mark. Now Mark is still running. I don't know what happened. That was weird. Keith Mayato might be out of fuel. He is still running as well. This is just crazy. It's all mixed up right now. But Jeremiah Vincent still trying to make it back. He's out of turn number 4. Here come the leaders into the backstretch chicane. So Jeremiah already 1 lap down. He tows it to pit road. Oh, man. Devastating there. Jeremiah, who comes into tonight's race. Oh, man, not many points out. Just 10 points outside the cut line. He got a couple points there, but this mistake. Oh man, that is going to be just absolutely killer. As my auto getting caught back up right now, he's working his way back up towards where he was, which is something that iRacing will do, but he may be out of gas at some point here. I can't believe he's stretched it this far. This is just crazy. Zach Halpern as well. Zach is out. And Zach, who's on the outside by over 70 points, really needed... He basically needs to win both races, and the guys in front of him need to finish last or not show up. But the field should be working on the pit lane here pretty soon. Yusuf Gali, your race leader, he'll bring them down. Here they come. Mayato, a little bit slow on the pit road. Now gets up to speed. We'll see if he runs out as they run down the pit lane. Jeremiah Vincent, I think, still towing into his pit box, technically. So that is going to be very interesting to see where he shakes out, how many laps down he is. As they all get into their boxes cleanly. Elliott Butler already rolling off. He'll have a great stop. Just fuel only for the number 6. Jeff Wright actually staying on the racetrack because he took tires just 3 laps ago. The 48 out in front after starting at the back. Now Elliott Butler up to second, fuel only. Alec Martinez, don't know if he got speeding or some type of a penalty there, but the 54 able to get around him, so he must have beaten him off the pit lane. Dylan Parker, Adam Cabot, Mayato gonna hang on to 7th. Little longer pit stop to fill that thing up. The 77 rolling out of the way. He must have gotten a speeding penalty. So that is a bummer there for the 77, who was so strong in stage number 1. AJ Stravato gonna take a spot away from him. This will be interesting to see how it all shakes out. Should be at least one more to go. We'll be right back after a quick commercial break. Let's see if we can also get a word in with one of the drivers before we go green.
We've been waiting for this moment. Generations of innovation all coming together in one place. A pedigree of more than 70 years of NASCAR Cup Series history, from the past to the present, from Petty to Earnhardt to Elliott. Today, there's no more waiting. The future of NASCAR is now. Drive the next-gen cars today on iRacing and step into the next generation of racing.
All right, back at the racetrack now. Let's see if we can pull up a driver who tried some strategy in that one. We'll see if we can pull him up here into the booth. That is going to be Alec Martinez. See if we can grab him. Alec Martinez, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy. Well, Alec, interesting mix of strategies there in stage number 1. We saw you pit a little bit earlier and opt to take a little bit more fuel and try and make it to the end there. Some guys tried to stretch it. What's going to be the call here for stage 2 now that you've got some pretty good track position?
Heck, I don't know. I think it's going to be save them tires to the, save them tires till you got a pit. So I think that's probably the go-to here. I'm not sure with these guys staying out here. It might be some chaos going into one and going into the horseshoe, but it's been a good clean race so far. I've been happy with it. Just if we get by Yusuf here, that'd be really nice.
Yeah, you were tracking him down in the late stages there of that first run. Did you find something at the very end? Were you saving tires?
No, I don't know. Just, find some stuff at the end of the run. Just finding that extra little grip that's on the track. Making the best of it. But, man, I don't know. I can't find the grip in that bus stop and onto this corner here. Just really interesting corners. Getting back up on Oval 1. So, got to play it safe. We'll see what happens. Just, man, I figure out these two corners, and I think I like what we have, and hopefully we can take it to the 54.
Yes, sir. Good run so far. We'll see if he can carry it over into stage number 2. So good luck rest of the way.
Thank you, man.
And that's Alec Martinez. As the pace car lights are off, we may be having an issue with the timing and scoring. Let me see if it's showing up correctly. Now it's showing everybody with some issues up here. So if we can fix that really quickly. Can get your own V-Speed merch at the V-Speed store. The first 25 to use code VRL5 will save $5 on your purchase of $25 or more, or rather $20 or more. So go ahead, check us out, vspeedsim.com/shop. See if there's anything there that you'd like. You can also follow us on all these different social media platforms if you're enjoying the content that you're seeing here tonight. All right, looks like we got it fixed up. Jeff Wright, your race leader, in control of this thing. And Elliott Butler, who didn't take tires, and that's going to be the difference between these first two. The 48 with fresher tires, 6 on old tires, and fuel only on that one. And green flag back in the air. We are underway once again from the Daytona Road Course. Look at this, 48 out in front. Here comes Yusuf Ghali looking down low on the 6. Here comes Alec Martinez also looking low. Oh, and a big wiggle there. The 3 of Dylan Parker able to hang on to it. They're stacking up now behind Elliott Butler. He goes a little bit off course. Mayato stuck in behind him. We've got cars sliding, I think, farther back. Not sure who that was. Oh, we've got cars making contact. Big damage here. Maybe the 48, or rather the 33 of Stravado with issues. What happened here? I think Dylan Parker got turned. Yeah, the 6 sends it way deep into the corner there. Mayato able to escape low. 24 gets tagged. 33, the 22. And they all get back rolling again, but Dylan Parker, the big loser on that one, is Jeff Wright still in the lead. And Yusuf Ghali up to 2nd. Here's Alec Martinez in 3rd. Keith Mayato in 4th. Going to be in pretty good shape here after really just not working out so great for him at the end of stage 1 with trying to save the fuel. As someone I used to hear commentate quite a bit would say, from the outhouse to the penthouse. He's looking a lot closer to the penthouse right now. Adam Cabot, also a driver who made a mistake during pit stops there, and he's recovering nicely. Now only 4 seconds behind the race lead. Oh, at the front, Jeff Wright gets bumped out of the way by Yusuf Ghali, and the lead going to change hands once again. Yusuf now to the outside. down into turn number 1. You know that 48's not going to be too happy about that move. But let's go back and take a look at it. Oh, a little bit of a lockup there. And then he got loose. I don't know if it was actually contact between the two drivers. But definitely a mistake there from the 48, costing him the lead. And here comes Keith Maiato now looking to the outside. He'll take, or attempt to take the lead away. Yusuf fighting back down low. Headed towards the kink here through the infield. And Maiato with that race lead, hanging on to it now into the second horseshoe. You can see he is really wheeling that race car. The battle for third behind them. It looks like Alex Martinez has made his way past Jeff Wright. Right now it is Keith Maiato, Yusuf Ghali out in front by a good distance. Alec Martinez, Jeff Wright here in third and fourth. Jeremy Miller now works to the inside of the 48. Really good drive down into the chicane. We saw Jeremy struggling earlier on, but he'll take away the fourth position. So really a good recovery for him as well. Adam Cabot in sixth, trying to track down the 48. AJ Stravato not too far back. Bailey Turner, Joe Stafford, Mark Emerson in the top 10. Mark has had an interesting day here, up and down. Jeremiah Vincent did make it back onto the racetrack, but he is one lap off the leaders, and there aren't going to be any yellows for him to get that back. Zach Halpern also a lap down, so trying something different has cost them dearly in this race. Oh, big jump over the curb for Lyle Solfridge. That car could get hurt from that. Out in front there, the 36 in the lead. Yusuf Ghali 1 second back. And Alec Martinez about a second and a half further. Adam Cabot. Oh, and an issue for Jeremy Miller. What happened here? Jeff Wright behind him. Down into the turn. Oh, 48 locking it up. He's going to make contact. And then the 30 goes around. And oh, slammed into by AJ Stravato. Nowhere to go. Jeremy Miller all the way back to 10th. You see the 48 and the 30 now door to door through the infield. This may not go well. Jeremy really pushing the issue. He's going to try and work back to the inside. Puts the power down nicely. He'll take the 9th spot back away, but there could be some controversy and drama between these two. The 48 trying to draft off of him. Here comes Dylan Parker as well, who was involved in the lap one, or rather the restart lap caution. And he'll take now the 10th spot. The 48 will surrender that position. So Jeff Wright, who restarted in the lead, has led a lap or a few laps here. It's all the way back outside the top 10. The slightly older tires not working out. Looking for other battles. Bailey Turner not too far behind AJ Stravato. And then once again, Joe Stafford, Mark Emerson. These guys were battling up early in the race. Mark was able to get away, and then Joe caught back up to him after a mistake by Mark. And it's been back and forth for a lot of these drivers. Still out in front. Alec Martinez a bit wide there through the first horseshoe, and then Adam Cabot. Good run there for the 77. He is still trying to close down on the race leaders, but 9 seconds back. And lap time's not really reflecting what he was able to do there in stage number 1. A bit slow through there, really wheeling it as well. But AJ Stravato, he's got the 22 in his mirror now. This is a three-way battle for the 5th spot. Bailey Turner's taking it away. Stravato fades to 6th, and the 22 now closing in as well. Remember, AJ pitted late in stage number 1, and that ended up costing him a lot of track position that he was not able to make back up. But so far, it has been all Keith Mayato and Yusuf Ghali. They're the top lap leaders. Keith with 11 laps led, Yusuf with 9. And they are currently first and second. Yusuf starting on the pole, Keith starting in second. It seems they've just traded the lead back and forth. Alec Martinez, he's been a close third in terms of pace. Right now he's about a second a lap off, but it seems to stabilize a bit more as they get later in the run. Yeah, that time a 1.5 seconds off. Here comes Adam Cabot with an alternate strategy. He's going to bring it back down pit lane. I don't think he can make it on fuel from here, though. This is just too far. This is 17 laps, so he is trying to do the 3-stop strategy. And fuel only for the driver of the 77. Here comes Dylan Parker. The 2 drivers on an alternate strategy, trying to make it to the end, possibly. Maybe it's a 3-stop. Or rather 2-stop rather than a 1-stop. It is hard to say, but out front, these 2 showing no signs of slowing down or trying to conserve. It seems like they should be able to make it if they go just a handful more laps, 5 more laps or so. They should be able to make it to the end. Mark Emerson has gotten around Bailey Turner, as well as AJ Stravato. He's gotten back up to 4th. So an issue there for Bailey. He's fallen way off of the 33. So he definitely made a mistake or just let these guys by. But he really sends it into the chicane there. Mark with an issue on the brakes. 24 gets right back past up to 5th position now. And I am very interested to see how the strategy is going to work for the 77. He's currently 32 seconds back. He's got a little bit more fuel, but I don't think it's enough to make it to the end. Dylan Parker, he's actually still on pit lane, so Dylan's strategy is not, it's not really a fuel call. It's rather, I think, a damage requirement call. Is the 48 also on pit lane for heavy damage. We'll see if anybody else does anything to, try and leapfrog these leaders. It's going to be really tough. The 36 and the 54, by far the fastest on track. Alec Martinez still 1 to 2 seconds a lap slower, but he's the next fastest car. Everybody else at least 2 to 3 seconds a lap slower, so it's not really a contest. Those top 2 very close in lap time. Yusuf just a 10th off of the 36. You can see he's still within a couple seconds. And for other battles, Bailey Turner, Mark Emerson still racing it up back here. Headed up onto NASCAR Oval Turn 1. Bailey really sliding the tires there, trying to get the power down. Joe Stafford has kind of faded off the back of them. He is now in the 7th spot. Really a solid race, though, for Joe, and he comes into this race. He is, I think he's out of contention. Yeah, he is definitely too far back to make it in to the playoffs, but a nice solid top 10 does a lot for your confidence, and he could still have a few good races left this year. Out in front, it is Keith Mayato over Yusuf Ghali, and that gap right around 1.8 seconds. Alec Martinez 5 seconds back from the 54. Bailey Turner, Mark Emerson continuing to race it up back here. This is for 5th spot. We got to go to a quick commercial break. More audio difficulties on our end, so we will be right back with more green flag racing action. Alright, I'm back at the track. Should have everything figured out now. Hopefully no more technical issues for the rest of the broadcast. Keith Mayato still out in front by 1.8 seconds over Yusuf Ghali. Alec Martinez still a little ways back. I wonder if he is trying to save some fuel. That time at the line, he's actually quicker than the top two, so maybe he's just been saving tires. AJ Stravato in this 4th spot, and he has pulled out a little bit of a gap over Mark Emerson, who's continuing to race now side by side with Bailey Turner. Across the start-finish line, Bailey will take the 5th spot. The driver who started in the top 5 now returning to the top 5 after some earlier issues. Ooh, big wiggle right there. He's still got pressure on him from Mark Emerson. Bailey was so close to winning a race earlier this season at the Nashville Fairgrounds. And it was taken away late with some late yellow flags. Elliott Butler now brings it to pit lane, so he's going to be one of the first to come down. And it looks like Jeff Wright had some issues. He is back on track now. Dylan Parker and Jeremy Miller have been on pit road for over 4 minutes and 6 minutes apiece. Here comes Lane Sulfridge onto pit road. Lyle Sulfridge as well. We'll see what the strategy call is for each of these drivers. The top 2, somebody's going to have to do something to get an advantage. And really, it's Yusuf in the hot seat to try and figure it out, because he is almost 2 seconds back. Actually gained a little bit out of the chicane there. Right now 1.5 seconds back. He was 1.8. Oh man, big jump off the curb for Mayato. Keith losing a little bit of consistency as the run goes on. When these cars get looser and looser, it seems like he loses lap time. That time 7/10 off of Yusuf Ghali, and Alec Martinez, he's still down in the 159, so he is a second faster than Keith and about 3 or 4 tenths faster than Yusuf. So keep an eye on this Menards machine. Alec Martinez has a good shot to maybe outrun these guys on a long run. We don't have that many laps left, so he may want to get to pit lane faster than them and try and make up some ground early and then try and hold them off, because he does have better long run pace. Right now it is Mayato just 8 tenths out in front. Yusuf Ghali, you can see he is really keeping that car under control, whereas Keith is starting to lose the back end a little bit. He's pushed maybe a little too hard. Alec Martinez now under 5 seconds behind, so he is closing. Don't count this guy out. You can never count him out. Always showing up towards the end of races. Adam Cabot rolls off of pit road. He took some tires. Joe Stafford as well taking tires. Adam Cabot trying to hang on to 7th. Here comes Elliott Butler, who went a bit wide in turn 1. That should allow the 77 to hang on to that spot. Keep an eye on other drivers coming down. Nobody just yet. How about those race leaders? My Auto 7/10 out in front of Yusuf Ghali. Keith and Yusuf. Now just a few car lengths separating them. You can see Alec Martinez a bit farther back. But he is reeling them in as well. Down into turn number 1. Iotto with the advantage on lap time, though. It was Yusuf. Another 2/10 clicked off right there. Alec Martinez, though, 6.5 tenths faster than Iotto and about a half second quicker than Yusuf Ghali. So he is coming. Just how many laps is it going to take for him to get there, and will he try anything to leapfrog them? Here comes AJ Stravato. He'll bring it to pit road. A little bit of damage on the right front of the 33. Into the box. None of the rest of the top 5 bringing it down right now. Jeremiah Vincent, Zach Halpern still yet to pit, and they've already made that mistake once. They may want to try and get down here before it's too late on this run. It'll be interesting to see if anybody tries no tires up here in the top 5 to try and get a little bit of an advantage in the pit time, because you could gain about 10 seconds if you do that, but you may lose that all just because of the fresh tires on the cars behind you. Just 8.5 tenths between the top 2, and then about 3.5 seconds farther back is the 18. Yeah, Mayato really hanging it out, but the 54, not a great exit of the chicane. That will cost him down through 3 and 4. I'm going to ask the viewers, who do you think is going to win this thing? Is it going to be one of these top 2? Will it be Alec Martinez able to chase them down? Here comes Mayato now to pit lane. He's the first of the top 3 to blink. On to pit road nicely there. Hits his marks for braking. And Alec Martinez and Yusuf Ghali going to stay out, and they'll try and do an overcut potentially. But I think it's going to cost him. I think it'll be 2 or 3 seconds gained for Mayato if he can get a really nice outlap. And the benchmark is really going to be AJ Stravato or Adam Cabot, and where they cycle back into position. Is Mayato now exiting pit road. There goes Mark Emerson. He'll take away 3rd. Mayato gets rolling again. Bailey Turner now on the pit road. AJ Stravato and Adam Cabot, they are so much farther back, so I don't think they're going to have this speed to contend, but Mayato will have to make his way past Mark Emerson, who is yet to pit. And Yusuf Ghali just working out of the infield section. It's going to be close. I don't know how it's going to work out for these guys who haven't pit yet. I'm also a bit concerned for Jeremiah Vincent and Zach Halpern. These two, 12th and 13th, already 1 lap down, and they haven't pit. They haven't pit here in stage 2. Although Zach Halpern now brings it down, so good call by Zach to avoid disaster for a second time. Though, yep, gets in his box nicely there as well, so that'll be really good. Looking at the race leader, though, Yusuf Ghali, 10 laps led. Mayato has secured most laps led. Here comes the 54. He had to bring it in. Alec Martinez is going to stay out again. This may be 1 lap too far. He'll bring it down into turn number 1. Where is Mayato? He is just getting into this front stretch chicane. About 22 seconds back. He goes up over both curbs big time. That is going to hurt that race car potentially. As Yusuf Ghali he's got the right sides on. Here go the left sides. Mayato already back past him. And let's see what the advantage was. About 7.5 tenths before they stopped. And right now, it's going to be somewhere in the nature of 6 or 7 seconds, I think. And Keith was even slower on pit lane. It was 7 tenths longer on pit road. But the gap is 6.5 seconds. Alec is going to be even farther back when he gets back on the racetrack. And he is still struggling with that re-entry onto the oval like he was talking about. Definitely still sliding back there. Keith Mayato, he's already picked up another 3 seconds on Alec, so it may be too much to overcome for even just a lap or two fresher tires. Oh, and Alex struggling through the chicane right there. I think he knows he's got to bring it in this time, so he's trying to make as good of a lap as he can. It's just going to be too much, though. I think he'll lose another 3 seconds. He'll be around 10 seconds behind the leader. And there's no possible way to save this much fuel. It's just, they were barely making it 15 laps. No way you're making it 25, as here he comes onto pit road. And Mayato out of turn number 4 already, and Alec is really just into pit road. He is not even close to getting in his box. Now pulls into the pit box nicely, doesn't overshoot it. But Keith now already back to the lead. This is going to be so far back for Alec Martinez. Yusuf Ghali now to second. And Alec, who is quicker on the long run, going to get off of pit road with the Menards Ford Mustang. Trying to see what the gap is going to be. Yusuf is 6.8 behind Mayato, and ooh, Alec hit the cone there. That could be a penalty, but it is another 6.4 back from Yusuf to Alec, so that is about 13 seconds for Alec Martinez to try and make up. He lost in total about 9 seconds, maybe more, to Keith Mayato through that exchange, and that is probably just going to be too much to make up no matter how fast you are on the long run. Yusuf still has a shot at this. I mean, 6.5 seconds is not impossible to make up, but he is going to have some incredible laps. And Mayato just ran his fastest, so that is not a good sign for the field. Keith, 2 tenths faster than Yusuf's fastest lap. I'm not sure what the lap time was for the 54 last time around because it included a pit exit. We'll see what Alec can do if he can pick up some time. He's really going to have to push that race car harder than it probably can be driven. We know Alec's a good driver. It's just sometimes you're asking a little bit too much. I understand the strategy call, but I don't think it's going to work out for him today. Been very fast, however, and still probably going to end up with a podium. Might even have a shot at second if Yusuf starts falling off. Right now it is all Keith Mayato. He has been really the dominant driver in terms of pace. Yusuf has had some good pace as well, but it seems that Keith has just had the car in the right spot for the right time here late in the going. And Yusuf losing time now, 7.5 seconds back, so a mistake in turn number 1 cost him a bit right there. And Alec Martinez starting to track him down now, 4.6 seconds behind, so Alec has picked it up big time with the fresh tires. And the track temp already up to 126, so it started at 120, which is pretty hot. I mean, that is really hot, especially at a road course. In these cup cars, you just burn the tires up so fast. Another 6 degrees. That's the difference in maybe a half second if you're pushing the car at its very hardest, and you're also burning the tires that much more. Take a look at some other drivers back here. Adam Cabot, who had the speeding penalty during the yellow flag, right now in 7th. He's trying to chase down Bailey Turner, who's in 6th. Mark Emerson up there in the 5th spot. He's about 6.5 seconds behind AJ Stravato. But with 2-lap fresher tires, see if the 22 can track down the 33. Joe Stafford's been in the mix all race long, right around 7th, 8th position. And only about 2.5 seconds behind Adam Cabot. Behind him, it's Elliott Butler, another 10 seconds back. Then Lane Sulfridge still on the lead lap here. He's got heavy rear end damage, though, and struggling to get that car around the track. Lyle Sulfridge not too far behind him. Maybe they'll get to racing before it's all said and done. Jeremiah Vincent a lap down. He's got Zach Halper not too far behind him. That'll be a battle for position, and both drivers need as many points as they can get, especially Jeremiah, who's not far outside the cut line. But Zach, who has not had a good run tonight, is probably going to be eliminated from playoff contention following the end of the race. Couple drivers taking it behind the wall. That's Jeff Wright and Jeremy Miller. Eddie Trejo's been out of it for quite some time. Dylan Parker, 10 laps off the pace, still on pit road. So no battles to speak of just yet, but Lyle and Lane Sulfridge, they could get to battling here. Lyle just a 1.5 seconds behind the 71. We do want to thank you for joining here tonight on V-Speed. Hope you're enjoying the race. It's been fun watching this racing action, the strategy here at Daytona Road Course. You can check us out at facebook.com/teamvspeed. Also find us on Instagram and Twitter for announcements and updates throughout the week. We've got a car. I think that was a car in the wall. That is the 54 of Yusuf Ghali. Down into the backstretch chicane. Oh my goodness, hits. He might have broken the steering with that one. That's going to cost him second, and he has taken it behind the wall. The 54 out of the race. The pole sitter still looking for his first win. He is done for the night. This will cost him a top 10. And what a bad mistake late in the going. Wasn't tracking down Mayato, was pushing really hard to do so, but was behind just because of that, the overcut, or rather the undercut by the 36, as now Mayato puts the 70 of Lyle Sulfridge a lap down, now trying to track down Lane Sulfridge right here in front of him. He'll go to the inside, 71 gives way. And Keith with 9 seconds over Alec Martinez. Alec has really poured it on here over the last couple of laps. He has definitely shrunken the gap. It's now 3 seconds smaller than it was. But man, Yusuf Ghali, I did not see that coming. He's been so good and consistent all race long. Takes himself out of it with just 5 or 6 to go. And one of the favorites to potentially win going to be out of it, but Mayato, he's still got a very comfortable lead. Alec Martinez is closing, but he's got only 5.5 laps to close up, 8 and almost 9 seconds. It's going to be a tall order. Next battle on track or position. That's at all close. It's 1.3, 1.2 between the 71 and the 70 as they just kind of sneak their way through the front stretch chicane. Everybody else separated by at least 4 seconds. There's no battles to speak of. Zach Halpern's also lost touch with Jeremiah Vincent. He has a couple lap older tires, as Jeremiah did bring it in a few laps ago. And 5 laps remaining. Mayato out in front of Alec Martinez by 8.6 seconds. Another 25 back is AJ Stravato. And he leads Mark Emerson by about 4 seconds. But Mark, with 2 lap fresher tires, he has started to close down on the 33. It was 6.5 not long ago. Now it's 3 seconds between these two. And Mark running some of the best laps on track. He is 3rd quickest. So, not too bad for the driver of the 22. He's actually faster than the race leader at the moment. He has 1 lap fresher tires than Keith, but either way, that's some good lap times right there. Alec Martinez about 1.5 seconds faster. But he does have another lap fresher tires than either the 36 or the 22. But Mark trying to track down the 33, who we know has had trouble late in these runs with keeping the tires on it. Bailey Turner also not too far back. He's about 5.3 behind Mark. He could have a shot at getting up there, maybe getting into a podium position, but might be a little bit too far. It's Keith out of turn number 4. The gap 7.7 to Alec Martinez, now 7.5 as Alec really pushing the issue down into the chicane. Up on the curb a little bit. Looked like he was almost struggling to find a gear right there. Let's see what the lap times are at the line. That time 1 second knocked off again. But the lap time somewhat equalizing as Keith has really stabilized here around a 1:59.5 second lap. And there comes Alec into the same corner. 7.3 seconds the difference. And now next closest battle is for the 3rd spot. Mark Emerson trying to get up here into the podium, and he is closing in on AJ Stravato. It's 3 seconds right now. He's cut the deficit in half. And the Rolex Ford Mustang showing some good speed. AJ with a mistake down here. That is going to cost him potentially. Maybe he just locked up a little bit. I saw smoke. But it did cost him. He's lost 1 second now to Mark Emerson. And look at this, the 22. He is driving the wheels off that thing, trying to get up there into the top 3. Mark is going to be running an F1 2021 series for Below the WO. He's one of the admins, and I know is really excited to get going with that. So we'll see if he can use his road course skills over there. It's a completely different kind of racing, you know. But he's doing a good job here tonight. Trying to challenge to get up there on the podium. The gap now 1.5 seconds as they work down the back straightaway. AJ just getting into the chicane. Here comes Mark. You can see him just in the right side of your screen now. Really good run through there. Oh, a little bit loose though on exit. That's going to cost him some momentum. And that is one of the worst spots to make a mistake because you've got this long banked corner to get back through the gears. And Mark still 1.5 seconds back. He actually closed up somehow through all of that. And he is really finding his groove through that chicane. He closes up every single time through there. At the front, Mayato still out in front, 6.6 seconds in front of Alec Martinez, who's continued to close. He's cut his deficit in half. but only 3 laps left to gain 6.5 seconds. Going to be a big, big hurdle. I just don't think he can get there. But my auto could make a mistake, and one mistake would be all it takes to get out in front. So Keith has to be nice and smooth here. He was about 0.6 off of Alex's pace, and if he runs even just a second a lap slower than he did, he will be in good shape. A battle for third heating up. Mark is there, 1 second back, and AJ continues to go wide in that corner. Mark really sticking to a lower groove. Closes up a little bit more. Now 0.7 of a second. And now just a car length and a half is the difference. AJ's got him in his mirror. He's already struggling a little bit, and the gap is only 0.3 of a second. Mark will have the draft down the back straightaway. He's already got the draft. Look at this. He's closing up. AJ may just let him pass. Down into the braking zone. They go side by side into the chicane. AJ gives way actually through the grass. Mark Emerson to third. Good driving by both guys to keep it straight. You're not really supposed to go through there side by side like that. But they did, and they did a great job of avoiding contact and avoiding a wreck. But it's not over yet. AJ going to try and close back up. Oh, and big hit off the curb, but doesn't slow him up too much. But the gap now about 7 or 8 tenths as they get across the start-finish line. And Mark Emerson trying to run and hide with this top 3 position. And this will be big for him as well coming into tonight's race. Mark was just 12 points up above the cut line, and a top 3 finish would be huge in trying to guarantee his way into the playoffs. And Mark has missed a race, so that is why he's so close to the cut line. He's run well most of this season, and it is surprising to see him that close to the cut line. We know the speed that 22 has had. How about this 18 up here in second spot? He's driven a heck of a second half, or a second stage rather, and up here in second spot, and been able to close up on my auto pretty consistently lap after lap. Look at that, really drifted it through there. He was sliding all the way into the oval turn 3. That was pretty wild looking. But Alec having fun out here. Probably not going to get up there unless my auto makes a huge mistake on the last lap, which we are coming to the white flag. Keith Mayato, he's led 24, now 25 laps. He's got 1 more to go, 11 more corners to get his second win of the season. As long as he's got fuel in the tank and he's got tires underneath him and he's pointed in the right direction, 36 car has been pretty much unbeatable today. Mark Emerson just coming into the final chicane. He's pulled the gap over AJ Stravato. Now 2.3 seconds, so I think Mark pretty comfortably with this podium spot. How about Joe Stafford, though? He's going to finish in the 7th position, assuming all goes well here. Got 17 seconds over Elliott Butler. Still on the lead lap. We've got 8 cars on the lead lap out of the 17 that started. And right now we do have 4 off the racetrack. So 13 out of 17 still running. Keith Mayato leading them all. He is in NASCAR Oval turn number 1 and 2, it looks like. Onto the back straightaway, just a handful of corners left. Alec Martinez too far back, 6.5 seconds. Last time around, just only a 10th faster, so they pretty much equalized. And Alec about 2 seconds farther back than he was when the pit cycle started. So if he had done the undercut, he might have been able to get away with the race win. If he would have had to pit about 2 laps sooner than Keith, and that would have been very interesting to see how the tires fared, but Keith Mayato through the final chicane. Going for race win number 2 here at Daytona. The 36 V-Speed Camaro wins the Daytona ROVAL 40. His second victory of the season in dominating fashion. Alec Martinez through the grass. He'll come home in second spot. Mark Emerson making his way around the 71 machine of Lane Sulfridge. Still a good advantage in hand for third. No other battles to speak of on track. Next closest is Bailey Turner up to AJ Stravato. But AJ comfortably in this 4th spot. And that should be enough to get him the points lead. So Mark Emerson, he'll take 3rd and finish on the podium. Mayato, your race winner. Alec Martinez 2nd. Stravato 4th. Bailey Turner finishes in 5th. Other drivers coming to the start-finish line. But we are going to go to a quick commercial break. And we'll be right back with the top 3 interviews.
V-Speed is proud to be partnered with Below the Double Yellow podcast, a podcast for NASCAR fans by NASCAR fans. Listen to Nick and Joe discuss all the latest on-track action, available on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. V-Speed is also proud to present the 2021 Below the Double Yellow Cup Series, brought to you by the American Trucking Association, starting January 14th, 8:25 p.m. Eastern Time, Thursdays at twitch.tv/VSpeedSim.
And back at the racetrack now, we're going to be bringing up our race winner straight away. Keith Mayato, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy?
And for it.
Well, Keith, what a race for you here tonight at the Daytona Road Course. You start on the front row. You go on to lead 26 of the 40 laps. And it wasn't all easy for you there with the fuel strategy in stage 1, but you were able to weather the storm and get out with a dominating performance in the end. How's it feel to win here tonight?
Feels really good. I know I always rely on these road course races to get some wins, but it was nice to pull this one off.
Yeah, it can definitely be tricky. We saw some drivers really struggling with the high track temps. Was it a handful out there tonight?
It's probably the usual, the cup car on the Daytona Road. It's, you don't have much grip on the front end, and you got to be so easy on throttle off to make it last the whole run. I was a little too aggressive on the second last stint when Yusuf was running me down, so I made sure on the last one to not be so aggressive.
Yeah, and was the plan there also to do the undercut and be the first one on the pit lane to get that fresh tire advantage, or what was going through your mind there coming down to like 10 to go?
Yeah, I was hoping to be the first one to do it. I was thinking of, completing maybe the 10th lap on that stint or 11th lap, but I was like, you know what, let's go early. I'd rather them chase me than me trying to chase them down, because I'm gonna, drive a little more aggressive to try not to make it a last lap pass, right? You try to at least beat them with the probably 2 or 3 to go, but it worked out. I wasn't over driving it on that last stint. I was just trying to manage my gap to Yusuf. I'm assuming he made a mistake somewhere. I heard he was in a tire barrier, so that made it a lot easier for me. So I'm sure he would have been close. He probably would have been on me at the end there.
Yeah, he was closing a little bit each lap, but just overdrove it through the chicane and lost control. But either way, you hang on and win the race. You're second of the season. We have one more before the playoffs, which you are locked into already. But we go to the big oval here in Daytona next week. How do you feel about closing out the season there?
I don't know. It's going to be my first race on a super speedway without a teammate. So I don't know how it's going to work out. I guess I got to make friends somehow and try to make it advantageous for me and for them. So I have a feeling I might be left alone quite a bit.
Yeah, it could be tricky. It's always difficult out there without some drafting help, but I'm sure you'll find some running mates out there for sure. And you don't have any pressure on you either to go out there and win it, already locked into the playoffs. But tonight you start second. You lead 26 laps on your way to victory, a dominating performance overall. And anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to everyone at VRL, Reggie, Marcus, for all the hard work they do, putting setups together and just keeping everyone in check when it comes to the race day. And yourself, Adam, with the great job you do on the broadcast every Wednesday night.
All right, Keith. Well, congrats on the win here. Your second of the season. Great drive tonight. And we'll catch up with you next week at the Big Oval, right back here at Daytona.
Thanks, Adam. Have a good night.
All right, you too. Race winner Keith Mayato. Really good drive here tonight at Daytona to capture his second win of the season. Let's go to the second place driver, who was also real quick here tonight and started reeling him in late in the going. Alec Martinez, Adam of the V-Speed booth. You got a copy. Well, Alec, we talked to you earlier on there at the end of stage, or right after stage number 1, and looked like you had some really good long run pace, and you tried to do the overcut. Didn't quite work out for you, but second place, how does that feel coming out of here tonight?
It feels good. It's been a while since I talked to you, so it feels good to finally get top 3. Have a solid and clean race going. I don't know how Keith was so dang fast. I thought the overcut was going to work with the 2 tires, fresher, and how much fall offs here, but dang, I don't really know what to do. Those 2 corners I kept talking about, they really still I couldn't get them figured out tonight. So I don't know. But congrats to Keith. Congrats to Mark for my teammate getting a top 3. I think it's his first one of the year. I'm not really sure. But man, fun race. This car at this track is awesome, and once again, low downforce, high horsepower is the way to go all the time here. I really enjoy it. It's just fun to wheel the car around.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun watching you guys slip and slide with the high track temp as well. It was, I think it was up to 126 right at the end of the race, so it was not going to be an easy task to get around here, and you did a great job. And we saw some hard battling early on, and when did you make that decision to do the overcut? Was it something you had been planning on doing from the start of the stage, or was that more of a last second decision?
It was more of I thought everybody else in here was going to, we were going to, stretch it as long as we can so we don't have to, push it, that far on tires. And Keith came in, and then Yusuf came in. And I thought it would work. I think what I needed was Yusuf not to spin. I think I would assume I know he was way faster than me, and I don't know how much faster than if he was even with Keith, but he was running him down, and I don't know what he did. I just saw him spin into the infield. I was like, oh well, that's a free spot. But I was hoping that would help me and trying to run down Keith, but it ended up not doing that. So I don't know, but I'll take a second out of that.
Yeah, definitely a very strong performance after starting in third. You did lead a couple laps here, so you get a bonus point for that. When we close out the regular season next week at Daytona, It's been a pretty strong regular season for yourself. You're in the top 5 in points, locked into the playoffs. So what's the plan heading out there?
Well, coming back to Daytona, it's Daytona. You just, you know, I'm not really sure. Yeah, you usually got to feel out the pack, see how it is, and you know, it could, you know, just like this year in the actual 500, you know, we could all wreck on lap 10. So, I don't know. Might want to play it smooth. I'm not sure how the standings are looking, so I'm not sure. I know it's not a win in your in system, so I'm really not sure how the points are going to look going in. But I know it's probably going to be a lot really wild. You know, points race. I'm not sure if we're all going to just get up on the wall and, you know, ride around for however so many laps. So we're going to race for those 100 or so laps. So we'll just have to see when we go in there. Hoping that would be nice. I know it's an extra little payout because it's a crown jewelry, so that'd be nice to get that. But you know, just have to go with it, and we'll see what happens next week. It's gonna be wild for sure. Daytona's normally not crazy at some point.
Yeah, we'll definitely see how it goes and let the chips fall where they may. Right? That's generally how I get in there. It's like, but. Anyways, you've had a great regular season up to this point. Another podium finish. And anybody want to give a shout out to before we let you go?
Yeah, you guys, obviously, you, Adam, doing the broadcast, all the viewers. It wouldn't be possible with, you know, without you guys, and you know, the admins, Mark Emerson, Elliot Butler, Jeremiah Vincent, Reggie Ortega for running this league, and shout out to Mark for you know, getting a top 3. It's good for Cold Blood Racing. And again, big thanks to everybody who's watching tonight. We really do appreciate it, and we hope to put on a show for you, and we'll try to put on a show for you guys next week.
Yes, sir. Definitely fun to watch all the strategies and sliding around. Great run here tonight, Alec, and we'll catch you next week.
Awesome. Thank you, Adam.
All right. That was second place finisher Alec Martinez. Let's go to third place now. Mark Emerson, who had quite the run. Mark Emerson, Adam in the V-Speed booth. You got a copy.
I got you.
Well, Mark, you must be practicing for the F1 2021 series, as you put on a good show here for us late in the going. You get by AJ in the final few laps. Had some really good pace there late in the race. How does it feel to come away with the podium?
I wasn't expecting it, so obviously whenever you're not expecting to finish well, you know, it's even better.
Yeah, definitely a very strong run. We saw you kind of hanging around the top 5, top 10 throughout most of stage number 1. Obviously, there was a lot of weird pit strategy and fuel strategy. So, you know, what was your plan there attacking stage number 2 to try and make up some ground?
It was just try and stay on track and not lock up the tires, because just even remotely locking up your tires, just it felt like it took 10% of your tire off, which was just in the fronts were wearing really, really quickly compared to the rear, so it was just really tight through each and every corner.
Yeah, probably a really high track temp contributing to that one tonight. But you came in just, I think, 12 points above the cut line. You're really going to pad that gap after a podium finish here tonight. So how does that feel? Does that make you feel any more comfortable going into Daytona, the big oval, for next week?
Yeah, because, you know, anything can happen at Daytona. Just one bad race, and everybody behind me has, you know, top 3, top 4, and then could be out.
Yeah, so we'll have to see where the points settle out, but probably going to be somewhere in the 20 to 25 point range now, so that could be a lot more comfortable for you. But either way, you start 8th, you end up on the podium here with a great drive in the last half of the last run, and you take that away from AJ late in the going. Anybody want to give a shout out to?
My teammates that showed up tonight, you for broadcasting, and Reggie for being the race control.
Awesome, Mark. Well, congrats on 3rd, and we'll catch you next week.
See you then.
All right, Mark Emerson, 3rd place finish. Very strong run for him. Go to the rest of our results and head on out for the night. Just the one caution for the stage break. No crashes really to speak of. Just a couple incidents here and there. One of the notable drivers knocked out of it late was Yusuf Gali with his mistake through the backstretch chicane. He ends up outside the top 10 and not able to get that first victory of the season. 10 lead changes tonight, though, so it was relatively competitive. But Mayato leads 26 out of the 40 laps. It takes the win. Alec Martinez, 7.5 seconds back, finishes in 2nd. Mark Emerson finishes 3rd. AJ Stravado 4th, Bailey Turner 5th, Adam Cabot 6th, Joe Stafford 7th, Elliot Butler 8th, Lane Sulfridge in 9th, and Lyle Sulfridge rounding out the top 10. In 11th, it was Jeremiah Vincent. 12th was Zach Halpern. 13th, Yusuf Gali. Like I mentioned, he was winner of stage 1, but unable to complete the race here, getting knocked out late. Jeff Wright finishes in 14th. Jeremy Miller finishes 15th. 16th was Dylan Parker. And Eddie Trejo rounding out the field in 17th position tonight for the Daytona Road Course. I want to thank you so much for tuning in here at V-Speed. We'll be back next week with the big oval here in Daytona for the season finale in the Virtual Racing League, the regular season finale, rather. You can check us out at Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, and right here on YouTube to stay up to date with what we're doing throughout the week. And you can always visit us at vspeedsim.com to learn more about the services we offer with Team V-Speed. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next week.